Hi, students. How are you doing? Welcome to Nice. I hope you are great. One thing with people is that they will always look for a way to cover up their gas because why not? They are so good. I think that thing is not even articulating, it's a gaslighting articulate. You see them act like they know what they are saying, but sincerely speaking, they are just there to gaslight you and even make you more angry. So I am going to ask this, mega nurses, how far, how great is it? How are you doing? Because you all had, like literally everybody had all the power. Before you vote, the power is you are the one with the power. The only time you gas up is when you vote and vote for the wrong person. It means you are powerless. Why? Because you cannot take your vote back. That also reminds me, I remember back then after election, I think first month, second month, and people started asking, can they take their vote back? How do you expect to take your vote back? Where have you seen that being done? That is how crazy a lot of people are. Some people actually voted without even knowing why they were voting. Some voted because they just wanted to vote. Some voted because they antagonized people that look like me. Now, how great are you? Mega nurses. And some of you are hiding. Why are you hiding? Come out. Come and speak to us. Come and talk to us. Let's know how far, so far. Because I can see how everybody is like hiding. Let's get into this video.
All of the Democrats and the people that do not understand the way that the world works, that are talking crap about nurses no longer being considered a professional degree, we all know that this is simply for financial aid and government loan purposes. Although it will set up some hindrances for lower income nurses to further their education and to become nurses to begin with, let me point out some specifics for you. So only for the sake of government loans is nursing not being considered a professional degree. If you guys look back and you look at simple things like trade schools and trade certifications where financial aid and educational costs are just a small fraction of what it costs for nursing, when it comes to industries like cosmetology and beauty and people get financial aid, only about half of those people that the government pays for their education actually stay in that trade, aka wasted money. Same thing with welders. Financial aid is available to these people. Yes, it is less than what nursing school costs, but only about half of those people stay in the trade for 3 to 5 years after their certification or graduation. Phlebotomist, same thing. CNAs, home health care, same thing. Realtors, same thing. So since the pandemic and since higher education has been made available to near everybody on the government's dime, and with all of the nursing benefits, grants on the COVID pandemic and government's dime, how nursing, the shortage, it's been exploited. The shortage has been exploited. People have sought out nursing as an easy way to maximize their earning potential, which is not to blame, but on the government's dime. And so many of them, a quarter to a third of nurses nationwide do not stay in the industry for more than 3 to 5 years. Unlike cosmetology, welding, CNAs, phlebotomy, things of that nature, realtors, property managers. The cost of education to become a nurse or go from CNA to LPN to RN to ARNP is way more costly than those little trade certifications. All of that adds up. So when financial aid and the government is paying for that, who do you think is paying for that? So now, as it will make it more difficult for just any Joe Schmo or financially hardship type people to go become nurses, I would dare say that because people are coming out of their own pocket to pay for education, we might get people to stay in the industry now. We might get people that actually care and have a passion for healthcare versus the people that just want a career to hurry and hop into so they can make a big buck and not give a damn about the patient that they're tending to. Because that is what we've been dealing with on an epic proportion for years now. This change also does not in any way, shape, or form affect the private institutions, the hospitals, the corporate institutions, the corporate hospitals into investing into their nurses and helping their nurses climb the nursing ladder instead of the government and financial aid. So for the people that so simpleton-like set and make it like it's a downgrade and like nurses aren't being appreciated, oh no. Just the opposite. Just the teetotal opposite. Healthcare is something that you should have a passion for. Period. Just because you want to become a nurse real quick, fast, and in a hurry and get over 2 years of your life so you can get paid to travel the country and have your room and boards paid for and not have to put in the work. Not fair to the nurses that actually care. All nurses are appreciated, but this will get rid of the ones that never belonged there in the first place. Yeah.
You know, one of the things that I notice about white women is that they are very good at articulating themselves, sometimes to the point where they can even articulate in a way that they can convince you of something that initially it might not have been, like you might have, you at first initial reaction you knew you were right about something, but then they'll come and they'll articulate their words so well that before you know it, they've been gaslit you into thinking that this was a good thing. I just seen a white woman come on this platform and she literally articulated the changes that's happening in the programs with nursing, and her statement was that the reason why they are suggesting that nursing is not going to be considered part of the profession in order to get loans for nursing is solely because it is to reduce the cost of nursing, and so that people who are just going to school for being a nurse is not going to subsequently pay the same price as someone who went to go to become a doctor. Now, this is the same administration that says that loans for homes should be up to 50 years. And some people might think that makes sense, but it doesn't, okay? It means that if you got a loan that you're going to have for 50 years in order for you to be able to pay it off, you better believe that the price of that house is going to be 10 times the price that it's probably worth. Okay, so anyway, her saying that, and again, when white women talk, they tend to talk and they only have themselves in mind because they have access to certain things that other people do not have. So, for example, saying that people may not qualify for certain loans because nursing is no longer considered a profession, it does take away access from the Black and brown communities. Okay, so even if it's going to be cost efficient for some people who might not have certain credit or certain income, they may not qualify for certain loans, and this would probably not allow them access to be able to take go to school for nursing and things that they're interested in. It is not to deny women access; it's to deny the Black and brown community access to certain places. And of course, inadvertently, it always affects white women because, again, I always say this, that white women thought that they were free, but they weren't. We were enslaved and they were enslaved by their men. The same things that we didn't have, they didn't have either. It's just that they had the assumption, I guess, of being free because they were white and they had some advantages to power. But for the most part, they really just was delusional as fuck because they was just as enslaved as we were. So naturally, when we fought for certain things, it allowed them to also have other things. I noticed that she wouldn't allow us to stitch the videos or duet the videos, and I'm assuming that's because and after she finished hooting and hollering about the benefit of these changes, she then suggested that if it was the left, and anytime somebody have a discourse and they start talking about the left and the right, but more so they talk negatively about the left and then they mention Obama, automatically it's a red flag because nothing Obama did, even to this day, they consider good, even despite the fact that he literally gave about 34 million people health insurance. And it wasn't good until it was under a new administration, and now they wanted to claim it and change the name to Affordable Care Act. But it was Obamacare when they wanted to make it seem like it wasn't relevant enough. So when she suggested that, oh, if it was the left or if it was Obama doing the same thing, y'all would see the good in it. Nothing Donald Trump has done for our country at this present time has had any benefit to anybody. And all the things that Donald Trump has put into place has literally been to benefit the rich and eat the poor. Okay. And I don't know why there are some white women. This is what I mean about white women being the men of women, because no matter what white men do and no matter how exploitive they are, they will still die on that hill of trying to convince everybody else that what they're doing is not bad. This is the same man that is now linked to predatory behavior, okay? And I'm not talking about this is something that we're not seeing in 4K. We see it in 4K. The victims are still alive. And they're able to match the victims up to the actual kids that we see in the videos, okay? But these are the same women that will come up here and try to convince all of us that these changes that are happening with these student loans is for our benefit. What has Donald Trump and his constituents have ever done to benefit the public? He don't care about veterans. He don't even care about his own people. He don't care about the poor. He don't care about nothing but himself, his children, and his constituents that he's in alignment with. And I looked in the comment section and I saw that there were black people in the comment section. They never, there's some black people who never go against the status quo. And I don't know. I mean, good for y'all. But for me, when I see certain things, I just got to call it out, because what are you even talking about? Any changes to the loan programs right now is not a benefit. Many people don't even mind having to pay back their student loans. They just want to have access to be able to have these loans so that they could get the education that they would not be able to get because they could not afford it. You changing anything in relation to the programs in these fields such as nursing, and make changes to where it's less money to be able to take these programs, when many schools are probably going to be expensive, which will require some people to have to get additional loans. It's not because they changing the amount that you can get for these programs that the school might change the amount to get into these programs. No, that the price still stays the same when you go into these universities. The only difference is that you're only going to get a small amount to go towards the degree that you're looking for. And if you don't have money and access to make up the difference, then you just don't take this program. Okay, that's what it's about. The fact that there are white women who keep forgetting that it's not like what it used to be before. There's a lot of black women who are educated who's always going to challenge your narrative. Okay, and many can argue that there may be some advantages to this, but others can argue, because it's undeniable, that America is literally doing a factory reset, and the attempt to once again put black people in a position where we are disenfranchised and we don't have the ability to show up in certain places and spaces or have representation, in hopes of never having another Kamala Harris, never having another Obama, Jasmine Crockett, another me, right? At the end of the day, though, it's never going to happen. We always going to find a way to make it out of no way. But the reality is that y'all white women, some of y'all, don't really have the advantage that you think that you once did. People see you for who you really are now. You guys will go against your own best interests in order to ensure that you have some type of an alignment with white supremacy and its superiority, and you don't care you don't care at what expense and what that may even cost you in order to uphold the narrative. The amount of people that was in her comment section that was validating the things that she was saying, not challenging nothing. I think I probably was the only one who's saying, like, also, in other words, what you're basically saying without all the hooting and hollering is that you're suggesting that what Donald Trump has done to these loan changes in his administration is going to be beneficial. That's what you're getting down to before I even finish hearing out the video. And then, of course, lo and behold, as she finished out the video, she basically was pretty much giving credit to the Trump's administration for all of these changes. It was 109 views that she had on that video. The amount of reach and power that certain white people have, even despite all of what we're seeing today, it really needs to be studied. It really do. Okay. At the end of the day, though, I'm gonna just say this to all of my black kids and the brown kids out here. I don't care what changes they making. Just keep in mind that our founding fathers and mothers literally built entire communities right after being enslaved. They had nothing, and we were able to build. We were disenfranchised. They never wanted us anywhere. We built the HBCUs, certain black-owned banks and hospitals. We even had an airport. We did all of that. with a harsh ass government that we had once before. So it doesn't matter what changes they make. Yes, it will get a little bit harder, but you already know if it's something that we really want to do, we up for the challenge. Okay? Yeah, well, anywho, thanks for coming to me.
I'm wondering how all of the nurses and nurse practitioners that are MAGA, that support Donald Trump, support his policies, support his initiatives, I wonder how they're feeling today.
I honestly wasn't going to say anything, but I can't help it. Can't help it. The fact that the Department of Education would essentially single out nursing and say that advanced practice nurses degrees cannot be recognized as professional degrees is absolutely insane to me. And it is so beyond dangerous. It is so dangerous. The truth is that advanced practice nursing is what has kept a lot of people in the nursing profession, because without it, a lot of nurses would have simply just left the profession that is already short, the profession that helps bridge gaps in care deserts where there's no one else. There you go, there's an advanced practice provider. And the fact that they would seriously even entertain the idea that would not recognize these programs is insane. And as a consumer of health, people should be concerned, because the reality is that nurses will not return back to the bedside. If that is what they're hoping for, it's not going to happen. People will leave the profession in drones. So this is absolutely just, I don't even know what to say. Like, I am in full on shock.
So apparently nurse practitioner degrees are no longer going to be considered professional degrees under the new Department of Education proposed rules that go into effect next July. MDs and DOs, they are still considered professional. That makes complete and logical sense. However, NPs, not professional. CRNAs, not professional. PAs, not professional. But chiropractors, they are still considered professional under these new proposed rules. However, physical and occupational therapists do not fall under these professional degrees. They are not professional. Speech language pathologists, not professional. Theology and divinity degrees, yes, they are considered professional. However, teachers, the ones who are actually the ones teaching the entire country, are not considered professional. I truly cannot even put into words how much this does not make any sense. As someone who has been studying my ass off for 2.5 years in a doctorate of nursing practice program, completing clinical rotations and managing patients and sacrificing my time, my money, my sleep, and quite frankly, my sanity, to now be told that my profession is not professional is beyond disrespectful to not just NPs, but to every single professional healthcare degree out there. NPs, CRNAs, PAs, PTs, OTs, SLPs, social workers, even teachers. Like, it is so disrespectful in so many ways to not consider these professions professional enough to be worthy of loans. This decision doesn't just impact job titles, it impacts federal loan caps and affordability and access to education and the future workforce. It's all in all very insulting to every single advanced practice provider out there who works on the front line of a very broken system, but still chooses to show up for their patients every single day. So to the Department of Education, I don't know who came up with this list and how you guys decided on which profession is more professional than the others, but please go back and try again.
To the First Lady, it's people will leave the industry in droves, not drones. But they're both 100% correct on the damage this is going to do. You're not going to be able to get certain loans or certain dollar amounts for loans for certain educations because they're not considered professional. The eroding of our education system from the top down is so has been so damaging within the first 10 months alone that it is going to take a shit ton of time to repair just that damage. I shudder to think of what they're going to do over the course of the next 3+ years.
In this edition of FAFO, titled Nurses for Trump.
Trump, you are on my last nerve, and I have been a fan from the beginning. I was all for MAGA, whatever the fuck. Make America great again, right? Can't make America great if you ain't got nurses, right? Because apparently they're not professionals now, right? Apparently, they have not made the Trump administration list for professional jobs. They left nurses off. I don't know if that was a mistake, but I know they got a proofreader somewhere doing their job. So, what do you mean nurses are not professionals? People that are saving lives. Are you kidding me right now?
So, Nurse Karen over there sounds very upset because the Department of Education has deemed some career fields, when it comes to getting access to loans and loan forgiveness programs, as, quote, non-professional. And many critics say that this will deter a lot of people from pursuing those type of fields. And as a country with a very, very terrible medical system, a potential shortage of nurses is very devastating. But going back to Nurse Karen, I wouldn't trust you if I was one of your patients. Because to me, I think nurses are probably one of the most selfless professions out there. You're out there tending to and taking care of people's health. And since Karen voted for this guy that's currently in the office, it makes me wonder if she would actually care for someone that was undocumented if they came into her hospital. Because it sounds like you're really upset that this is affecting you directly, but you didn't think about all the other policies that are affecting other people. And to you specifically, Karen, since your job is deemed non-professional now, I guess your degree means that you can go and play the game of operation. And I'm talking about this game. Anyways, thoughts on nursing scrubs to you, and have the day that you voted for.
I want to talk about the political theory behind restricting access to education and specifically how that relates to the current administration's decision to downgrade the nursing profession. Paulo Freire wrote that the easiest way to control a population is to restrict their access to education. So by making it so people can't afford it, they stay dependent on the system that is exploiting them. So by removing nursing from a definition of professional degree, the pathway becomes harder to fund. People can't afford it. So that directly blocks upward mobility. People can't afford to become nurse practitioners, CRNAs. Essentially, you're gutting the system from the inside and making it weaker.
This is all I got from this video. You know, one thing with people is that a lot of people do not understand what, the damages that is being done or that are being done to themselves and to other people. Not until they are incapacitated, like they cannot do anything. They do not have power anymore. See, let me tell people something, especially white women. You know, before the election, right, you are the one with the power, right? You have you had all the power on earth, all the power in the world. Because some people do not understand that it is when you give your power to somebody that the person can actually act. So white women and white men and the rest of them decided that all the power that they have, that they were going to give it to who? To Donald Trump, the head of the government today. And the head of the government today is now the one with the power. And he has already made you people powerless. I just want you to understand this. It is as simple as ABC. Whether you scream from now till tomorrow or next tomorrow, you definitely will know that there is nothing you can do. Not until the same people that gave him power try as hard or as much as they can to come around and look for a way to take that power back from him. But for now, you all messed up. Why did you mess up? Because you feel like people that look like me do not deserve to have anything, or people that look like me do not deserve to be happy, or people that look like me cannot be president or cannot just have anything good. Nothing good can, that kind of a mindset and all that. Because what people are suffering today is because of people looking down on people. At some point, you guys were like, yes, we are going to do better. At some point, you all disappeared and did the opposite. Now, today, nurse is no longer a professional course or work or anything. It's just there. And before you know what is going on, maybe before you know what's going on, you find out that your salary is now stagnant. It's not going up. Rather, it might come down because Someone that doesn't know anything about health said that, nursing can no longer be a professional course. And then not just only did he do that, you all also gave him power to make you powerless, in the sense that if care is not taken, you will find out that a majority of you will have to stop working because what you are working for is no longer paying off. What used to pay off before is no longer paying off. And the worst part is that if this, not just only this man, tomorrow, even if he leaves, and probably leave, if this man leaves office tomorrow, and what's this man's name? Let's say JD Vance continue from where he stopped. It is still the same person that is operating. You all better wake up, because you all do not understand how politics work. JD Vance will continue from where he stopped. So you all need to, as soon as possible, recycle. Because if you do not recycle, I don't know what it's coming next, because next tomorrow you find out that doctor is no longer a professional course. I am just saying, right? So now I am going to ask you people, how great is America? MAGA nurses, how great is it? Because you all are the ones that said this man is the one that will lead us. I remember back then when black people and other people were going around trying to educate you people, you all said with your mouth that a woman cannot rule this country, or moreover, she is not white, because you guys are so good at perambulating, dancing around. Now, how far is, or you needed a stronger person, someone who knows economics or understand how business work. So how great is he now with his business skills and his business ideas? Sometimes change comes in different forms. What kind of change are you looking for? Because at this point, you've been played big time. And I hope you all rot and have a horrible day that you deserve, because what you guys did is literally affecting everybody. I have my cousins that are nurses. Yes, my cousins. I have almost how many? 5 or 6 cousins or more than that are nurses. Like when I say cousins, blood cousins. I saw her the other day ranting on TikTok. I just didn't want to comment. I just walked past. I will draw my curtain here. Bye for now.